everyone. I'm Rudrani and welcome to Speak Easy. My guests today are very special. They come from a far, far place. And this is going to be really exciting because you all have loved Lord of the Rings. And now we have the Rings of Power and the cast joining us. This is so exciting. How does it feel to be in India?
Oh, we love it here. It's been such a warm welcome.
Ate something interesting, did something till now? Not yet?
No, we've sort of just been trapped in the hotel.
I hope you get
beautiful
to do some
food.
Oh yeah.
You did?
We went to a restaurant last night and we had some delicious food, and it's just the hospitality here is incredible.
I love that. Isn't it so interesting that you joined the cast? You've done some incredible work.
Thank you.
Also, I feel like now that that representation is truly being taken seriously, I feel like there are such diverse characters which are truly exciting. What do you have to say about that? And of course, your inclusion here also gives so much more and takes that a step further.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think the beauty of this show is that everybody was cast authentically because they were the perfect person for the role. It's impossible to watch this. We've seen the first 3 episodes, and it's impossible to watch this without knowing and seeing that everybody was cast perfectly in those roles.
Yeah.
And that's what diversity is to me, is the opportunity for people to be able to shine in roles that they're meant to play, regardless of their ethnicity or race. And this fellowship, when you look at on screen, these are people from different creeds and cultures coming together, different beings, races, joining forces in a fellowship. And what better way to do that than authentically bring together a group of people from diverse backgrounds.
Shows like this also show sometimes how in our world, when we're living in, there are differences that happens and like racism and things like that. And I feel like, very quietly, the show also sort of encapsulates that parallelly. Do you also think that? And I feel like, because the tension that they show between 2 races and then finally making alliances, I feel like it's very telling of what happens around us.
I think it's just sorry, that's a hard question. I think that Tolkien, he loved to tell stories of hope and love and trust, and I think the story between the elves and humans, though it can be interpreted in that way, I like to interpret it as a way of, no matter who you are, you can still love and you can still trust and you can still come together,
Yeah, it's universal. I think that's the beauty of fantasy. It allows us to comfortably explore our existential longing. That belongs to all of us, and it's timeless and universal.
What do you think was truly challenging, though, for both of you?
I think not becoming attached to the character. I think we spent so long with the characters that it almost became a part of me, at least. And I think Thea goes through some really dark things, and I think to keep that sort of energy in my brain is not very healthy. So I think a big thing for me was learning how to step out of the character and take it off and be able to put it back on and leave it at the door. The important thing is just kind of, I've got a great support system around me, and I believe that what I've done is true to Tolkien. I hope that it was, and that he would be happy to see it. And the main importance was just, the fans are so passionate, and we see it, obviously, and just sort of delivering for them, because it is truly, it's a work for them, it's for the fans.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to end that on what was challenging for you?
Gosh, the most challenging thing of part of filming was being away from my personal support system for such an extended period of time, but the plus side to that is, the positive to that is that we became each other's family. And what better way to sort of form this bond on screen than actually having each other to lean on and having this fellowship be something that's real. So even the most challenging parts of it were actually a blessing in disguise in a lot of ways.
I love the way you put it. It's lovely, and I'm looking forward to the series. You guys are amazing. I'm going to make you do something. Why don't you look at the camera?
Yeah.
And it's very easy. You want to give India some love, right?
Yes.
So we're going to say बहुत प्यार. We're going to do this and say बहुत प्यार, which means lots of love. So India, बहुत प्यार.
India, बहुत प्यार.
India, बहुत प्यार.
So we're going to do it together. Okay.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
India, bahut pyar.
You all loved Lord of the Rings, and the Rings of Power is back, and he plays such an important character. I'm talking about Charles.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
How does it feel to be in India finally?
It feels great. I just wish there was more time. It's a very speedy tour we're doing. We're doing a lot of interviews and, bringing the show with us. And next time I will stay longer for sure.
India has a lot of Lord of the Rings fans, and they really, really, the ones who read the books, the ones who watched all the movies.
Yeah.
So I think everybody is really looking forward to what has happened to the characters. Now I feel, so even if you watched and you're a fan, you want to know what happens. You don't really know everything, do you?
No, you don't. And remember, our show is set in the Second Age,
Exactly.
which is 3,000 or 4,000 years before the events of Peter Jackson's films. So we see the characters that we know from the films, of which there are a few, but they're very, very different people, and we see them young. We see young Elrond, young Galadriel, and they've got a long way to go before they reach the incarnations that we see in the films. But then also we see a lot of new characters mentioned by Tolkien and others who weren't.
If you weren't playing this, which by the way, of course, which character would you have liked to play?
Oh, tricky. Tricky.
And why? You have to explain why.
I always wanted to play. When I was 9 years old, I wrote a play of The Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
And I wanted to play Sam, Frodo's friend. That was the part that I really wanted to play.
That's an adorable part.
Yeah. And my mum gave me a typewriter and for my birthday, and I typed it all out with one finger. And I wish I still had the manuscript, but I don't. But I wrote the play and I cast the play with friends from school, and we were going to do it, but we didn't do it for whatever reason. But I wrote Sam for myself because I think I was drawn to his heart and his heart on his sleeve and his goodness. Celebrimbor does not have those qualities.
He doesn't. But you've been manifesting this for a really long time. It was almost like you were meant to be a part of Lord of the Rings.
I know, but this is why, for many of us, it's so true. For many of us, it comes full circle, and you never get rid of, particularly as an actor, you never get rid of that 9-year-old in yourself that marvels at the world, because that's what we do. We replicate human behavior and all its oddities. But to walk on the set and see that stuff, I mean, it's full circle.
You were always Team Elves, weren't you?
I was always
Team Elf?
Team Elves. Absolutely.
Who wants to be human?
There's no doubt about that. I hear there's been some discussion in other rooms about the
really?
elf. Yeah, but they can, they keep banging on about Numenor in the other room. We're fans
Elves
of
rock.
Numenor.
Elves are the best.
Elves are the best. Elves rock.
When you all were while making of it, were there conversations on the set about how, like, I hope that they connect in the way that you all have been connecting and creating? Because social media today is tricky, right? And reactions are severe, it's instant. So have you all been ever discussing all of that, and how do you look at that world now? Because it's a part of the world that you're creating today.
It's a part of the world. I don't really go there myself.
You don't at all?
A little, but not much. It's an inevitable part of it, of course. But I think anything that's people are so passionate about it, and I think any animated discussion, to put it mildly, about Tolkien is to be welcomed, because there is room for so many theories, and as long as it exhibits people's passion and people are kind and don't go down certain routes, which we've seen a little bit of, we don't want any of that. Then it's all good. It's all for the good.
I was going to ask you what's the craziest theory you've read, but you said you pretty much don't. But have you heard like a crazy story, a crazy theory that people have about the new one because they don't know anything?
I think there's sometimes a bit of confusion that exactly what it is and when it's set. I have heard some theories, which I can't comment on one way or the other. But yeah, there are some theories out there that are, that will be disproved.
What is it that you're going to miss once this is over?
Oh, well, we've got a while to go yet. Touch wood.
Touch wood.
That's not wood.
But we're going to pretend.
We'll pretend. What will I miss? I will miss the magic of it. It's a magical, really, truly magical job to have, and such a wonderful group of people, and the care, the passion that has gone into this project from every level of every department is it's amazing to behold.
All right, that sounds great. Since you're in India, have you watched any kind of Hindi films or Indian films, not just Hindi, ever? Or have you heard of any Indian actors or music?
As I've said before, I'm very much looking forward to spending more time here and being educating myself. But Lloyd, I'm sure, has told Lloyd Owen in the other room.
Of course, he's worked with
has talked about his Bollywood experience.
Yeah. Wouldn't you want to have a Bollywood experience
Of course
ever?
I would. That's why I'm mentioning it, because I'm jealous.
You are?
Yeah, I'd love that.
Oh,
I've got to see the movie, though.
I hope. We're putting it out in the universe. There you go.
Yeah.
Charles is very keen.
Yeah, and shortly to be available.
Let's make shortly available. There you go. Thank you so much, Charles. This has
Thank
been
you.
lovely.
Thank you
And
very
sending
much.
you lots of love. Since you're going to be, if you manage to go out somewhere, you can greet people by saying Namaste.
Absolutely, I
So,
will.
should we do that? Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you so much, Charles.
Thank you.
Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power cast is here, and I'm sure you guys are excited. Welcome to India.
Thank you.
So much. I think we need you for the voiceover, the way you said Lord of the Rings of Power. I think that's going to go with
This
the
is a huge
promo.
compliment, Lloyd. You were just
True
being nice
story.
and
True story. True story.
But thank you, and I'm really excited, honestly, because the kind of fan following that Lord of the Rings has in India is amazing. But before I begin, how's India been till now? Have you get to do anything?
Maxim Baldry has had his first Indian poppadom and he's still recovering from spice.
Do you know what?
When was that?
Well,
When
in
was it that you
London,
had?
Poppadom.
a poppadom. Well, listen, but in London it's not that spicy, and here I just literally walked past. It looked really tasty, so I just grabbed a little bite and just mouth is on fire.
He's
So
happy. It's given
am
him a lot more energy than he had at the
it
beginning of the
has.
morning.
It's like a bit of rocket.
I mean, it is meant to be spicy.
Oh, it is.
I mean, I love spicy food. I'm sure you'll get used to it.
Okay,
The
yeah.
spices are so important part of our lives.
No, I love it.
You love it?
Yeah.
You're okay, right? There you go.
We haven't had
So
much
Lloyd
trouble.
and Emma,
Yeah.
now you have to try something spicy. Try some street food, okay?
Yes, I'm looking for, and I've worked in India before, so I'm trying to tell these two, trying to get out there, and we haven't got much time, but when we do have a chance just to get out into Mumbai where we are and just experience the city. And
So tell them-
Pani Puri is what I wanted to have.
Pani puri. So and
Yeah.
tell them to make it tikha. Say pani puri tikha.
There
Say
you go.
tikha. So it's like
Tikha.
spicy.
Yeah.
Tikha.
Oh,
Lot of course knows, a little bit of India. Can I say a little bit, a lot?
A reasonable amount.
I like that. So you're like their guide right now here. But how does it feel to be back? And also, of course, you worked with Amir, you worked with all the biggies here. I was very interested to know that you felt this also feels reminiscent of Thugs of Hindustan. I am very, very interested why you said that.
Yes, because there's a mythology within that story,
that way.
and there are archetypes within that story too. And indeed, in Amir's role, playing that trickster role, which is a complicated role in terms of you're not sure which way the person is going to land and
Yeah.
which decision they're going to make. And I think with Tolkien as well, there is, even though people think of it as black and white, Tolkien is much more interested in the grey and people trying to make the right decision, not knowing which choice to make and how to choose. So I think, and some of that is really reflected in the dynamic of our family here. So just, those themes are very strong, and I think where the myth tells us the truth of who we are, I think that's similar to Tugs and similar in Lord of the Rings.
Because the fans get to see an aspect that they probably haven't and have not read about so much, per se, when it comes to all of your characters, right?
Yeah, especially I'm brand new.
Yeah, exactly. His is slightly more, there's a background to it and all of that.
Yeah. No, it's exciting. There's a freedom there. There's, another actor's performance isn't sort of, ghosting behind you the whole time. But it's been lovely. Patrick and JD have written a very complicated character for me, and I feel like sometimes that's not the case when you hope that she's been inserted. I'm rambling so much. I'm so sorry.
Good, I get it. Everything. I'm listening very intently.
Yes.
You're all right. Please go ahead.
At the end of the day, it was important to create a believable family, and within families there's conflict, and on this island there's political conflict, and it's sort of JD and Patrick added her to sort of give us an intimate view of conflicting philosophies on the island within a family, and how that can tear families apart.
Also, I hope the women here have more agency.
Yeah, she definitely does.
I love that. Because I think in the beginning, how the series went, the Lord of the Rings were, there were lesser women in that perspective, but I think eventually they grew. But this, I think, is so apt because I was so excited about the female characters. You want to add something to it?
Yeah, I just wanted to say is the danger there sometimes is just to add a female, you know, and that's not the case.
There you go. Okay, we are going to make sure the sisterhood is strong. Yeah, isn't it? It's so important. But Axon, tell me, did you kind of take the pressure because everybody was like, oh my God, you're doing this, you know, you're going to be part of this. Did that wane ever? And when you were shooting particularly, how is it feeling to be on a set of creating something so amazing that probably will have a fandom of its own one day, separately?
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, it was a dream come true every day on set. I never really believed that I would be sat here even talking about it, even just the fact that there's the Lord of the Rings behind us. So, yeah, there's just a definite privilege and honour to be part of this, and that's kind of what fueled me throughout the whole shoot.
But thank you so much. I hope you have a great time and you take them around and you get some time here in India.
I will
and
try.
I hope you meet Amir as well.
Yes, exactly. And hopefully they'll behave themselves. But, I mean, they're children, so what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? You have to be the responsible father.
Try my best, you know.
So he's the well-behaved one among all of three of you? I'm not buying it.
They're not allowed to answer that question.
Are you going to... I think she wants to, before I end. Do you want to answer that? It's okay. I'm going to protect you. Probably the other way around. Is he the well-behaved one?
Well, my character...
No, as a person, me.
You,
Yes.
as a person? Yes, of course.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right.
I think they're all well-behaved. Thank you so much. Sending you lots of love. And namaste.
Thank you so much.